Welcome back to Open Line. John Harris is with us, the Tennessee Firearms Association. We're talking about gun laws that we would expect to see in the upcoming legislative session and the next legislative session, the General Assembly. Two major gun-related incidents, one in Chattanooga, one at the movie theater here, may influence legislation. As said, we're going to start taking calls here, but the whole issue of constitutional carry, doing away with the need for gun permits in Tennessee, you're very much for that. It has not passed thus far in the legislature, and even people that you might think would be for it. You've talked to the Lieutenant Governor, Ron Ramsey, about this.
In the past, yeah.
What has he said?
The Lieutenant Governor likes the fact, we've got two issues going on. We've got the issue about permitting and whether or not it accomplishes a usable goal for the public or if it just costs a lot of money. And then we've got the issues of the gun-free zones. You know, where should we prohibit guns? The Lieutenant Governor has expressed his belief to me that the fact that we have a permitting system which requires people to go through background checks and be fingerprinted and get into the FBI's computer system so that they can be tracked, it is useful as a policy argument to get rid of some of the gun-free zones. And so he wants to, as I understand it, use the permit system as leverage in the political debate to get rid of carrying, prohibitions about carrying in parks, for example.
Which is a compelling argument. And I've heard when people say there are too many guns or something to that effect, one of the first arguments is people who have guns are well trained, they have a permit, they've gone through a background check. What are you so upset about, or something to that effect?
Right.
That is the argument. When you get a permit, you've met a certain standard, and these people have met that standard. So why take that argument away from yourself? Why do away with that?
The main reason is, keep in mind that the permitting system is a tremendous money maker for the state right now. And it's viewed as a money maker because there are fiscal notes attached to it. And one of the reasons that we argue that we need to revisit this issue of should we be forcing citizens to expend money to take a class and then expend more money to go apply for permits. You're going to spend about $200 to get a permit the first time around between the class and the application fee you pay to the state. Should we force the citizens to go through that system to exercise what many believe is a constitutional right, but more importantly, what the experience in other states show is a needless expense and burden on the public, because the states that don't have that system and don't impose those costs do not have higher rates of crime or negligent shootings or risk to the public by allowing anybody to carry.
I mean, you can look at stats in lots of different ways, and I'm sure there might be some people who would say, well, we could point where there might be some right. I don't know. I don't know the stats. I don't know. But it does take that argument away. And you don't think that it makes people less safe to not have to go through those things they go through now?
No. Looking at the data on what is effective in reducing crime or effective in reducing accidental injury, what we can show after looking at the data from 50 states is a permit system like Tennessee has is a tremendous cost with no real tangible benefits. It's perceived benefit, but not a tangible benefit.
All right, let's take some calls. Let's go to Philip. Hello, Philip.
Hey, good evening.
Good evening. What's on your mind?
Well, you're touching on, I loved hearing what your guest was talking about with the private businesses. Here's another avenue. Instead of passing legislation with the private businesses and their stupid gun-free zone stickers that they put on their doors, do we not have enough people? Can someone like yourself not organize a legitimate boycott of businesses that do that? And I'm talking about movie theaters. I think people are sincere enough about this issue to leave their home, drive to a movie theater, walk up, prepared to buy a ticket, and say, oh, this is a gun-free zone? No, we're boycotting it. I'm not going to spend my money here. And force these private businesses to change their policies.
So use some economic sort of muscle.
And if the government's schools, well, primarily schools, if schools want to continue to have gun-free zones, we all know what will happen. If we eliminate all the other private industries that have gun-free zones, and the only gun-free zones there are schools, and I love children, don't get me wrong, but you know exactly where all of the remaining mass shootings will be. It's schools.
Okay, well, let's talk about some of that. What do you think of what he's saying?
Philip makes a good point. You know, when we first got permitting so that citizens could carry back in the mid-90s, there were places, I can name two specific examples. One was Walmart. Walmart started posting. And nationwide, you know, they had that going on, and it was pretty much done on a store-by-store basis. And TFA and some other states worked together, and we started talking to Walmart headquarters in Arkansas. And a national policy was developed where Walmart stores cannot post anymore.
They choose not to, right?
Yeah, they made the decision, and then it's not by law, but it's coming out of a corporate headquarter policy. Right. Lowe's was another example here in the Nashville area and in several places across the state that voluntarily posted. And we told members to start approaching, you know, go in there, find the manager, say, look, I'm a permit holder, you're posting, I'm not going to do business with you. And so we've actually developed, and anybody can go on our website and print these off. We actually have what we call merchant cards. And they're little, you know, they got our logo on them. It says, you know, please don't post. I'm a handgun permit holder. You know, handgun permit holders are safe. You don't need to be worried about us. We abide by the law, and we're going to take our business elsewhere if you decide to post.
Now, do you worry with constitutional carry you not redo that card?
Well, yeah, we might.
Permit holders, you know, are safe, which is a compelling argument. But now it's going to be, you know, I just have a gun. You know,
yeah, that's not a perfect world.
Does that still doesn't weigh down your thought?
We would tweak the language to say citizens legally carrying firearms or something to that effect. Okay.
So when Philip says he says use the economic muscle, you're doing that. That's being done.
Oh yeah. We promote that as citizen activism on our website, and we make the resources there free and available. You can go download it, print it off on your home printer, and pass them out. Or we actually print the cards, about 50,000 at a time, and if you attend one of our chapter meetings, we'll give them to you for free.
All right, let's go to Cindy. Hello, Cindy.
Hello.
Hi, what's on your mind?
I have a remark and question about something that Mr. Harris said about open carry. First, I want to know, how is it a good thing that anybody would be able to carry a weapon or a gun without training? How is carrying something that can cause such harm that without training a good thing? You, as an attorney, Mr. Harris, are required to take continuing education courses. You have to have a license to do what you do. Doctors have to have a license to do what they do. I certainly wouldn't want a doctor performing surgery on me without training. So I'm confused as why it's okay, or why you think it's okay.
All right, I appreciate the question, and I know you're not alone with that question. So what about that? Here's someone who's concerned.
Well, and I appreciate Cindy's question because it's a very serious question, and I think she asked it very seriously. But what the United States Supreme Court has made it perfectly clear that the right of the citizen to have firearms and to carry them is classified as a fundamental right. It's not a privilege. It's not a licensed activity. It is, in fact, according to the United States Supreme Court, a fundamental right. And that just gets into the academic debate. What I would like people like Cindy to understand is we don't do this lightly when we advocate for constitutional carry. We have spent time and resources studying data from Tennessee, Florida, other jurisdictions where it's available, to try to determine, is there any evidence? And we look at crime data. We have pulled literally the databases from the Tennessee Department of Safety on who has permits, and from TBI on what kind of crimes permit holders commit. And we can compare that with data from other states where people don't have to have permits, And we don't see that the permit actually reduces crime or that it reduces accidental shootings any significant degree to justify the cost of the system. And the other thing that Cindy and others like her should understand is, just last year, Tennessee completely did away with the law that required any kind of permits to carry firearms loaded. Rifles, pistols, shotguns are all legal now. In personal vehicles, no permits required. It's been the law in Tennessee now for over a year, but we've not seen any kind of problems coming from the fact that you could pull up to a red light, the person in the car next to you could have 2, 3, 4, 50 loaded firearms, and it's not creating problems in terms of crime or safety for the public. And we are literally moving in the direction of constitutional carry. The legislature's doing it a step at a time, but the data from other states says, why are we, one step forward, 2 steps back? Let's just go ahead and get rid of it, because it's costing the people of Tennessee a tremendous amount of money.
Should you adopt this, and then there's another study that indicates, well, in Tennessee, we are seeing more accidents or more violence, or let's say it's different than what you're seeing. I mean, would you go back? I mean, it seems almost counterintuitive that there's no value to the permitting process. There's no value to the training. I mean, that's essentially what you're saying. There's no value to the training because it doesn't lead to any better outcomes.
Well, that's right. That's what before I became an attorney, I was trained as a sociologist. I got my degree at Vanderbilt in sociology and studying data and demographics and those kinds of things. And when you step back and look at it from the perspective of an economist or a sociologist or just crime in general at a macro level, what you find is these permitting systems, whether it's the required training or the fee system or the background check, or like Tennessee used to do, they literally regulated specifically which guns you carried and how you could carry them. What we find is, when we look at it broadly across the population groups, is none of that stuff has any real protective benefit, either in terms of criminal conduct or negligent conduct directed towards the safety of the citizens. We're just as well off at less cost getting away from permits entirely.
Okay, and that's going to make some people uneasy. We're going to take a break. If you want to call, there's the number, 615-737-PLUS, 615-737-7587. Take a break. Be back right after this.